Welcome to week 6 of the Bill Nees Coaches Show. I am your host, Chip Hare, and with us, of course, is the head coach, Bill Nees. And Coach, we are officially halfway through the season as we are moving into divisional play. The Indians get a big win on Friday night against Fairborn, 37-17, in what was the final crossover game of the GWAC before we move into week 6. And Coach, a much-needed win and a win that really gives us momentum moving into week 6.
I think so, and it not only was it a must-win, it was a must-get-better for us. I think we had been stagnant, and one of the big things that we featured in our Monday meetings last week was the fact that we've kind of just stayed the same. In week 5, you shouldn't be turning the ball over. Week 5, we shouldn't have mental errors. Week 5, we shouldn't have as many penalties as we had. And we came out this Friday night, and we cut our penalties from 12 down to 5. We had 0 turnovers. We've reached 5 out of 6 goals on offense. The only one we didn't reach is our short yardage, which we're addressing currently, and we reached all 6 of our goals defensively. So it was a big night. If anybody notices next week when the players come out, there's going to be a lot more helmet decals this week than there was in the past, because this is probably the most I've ever passed out in a single week.
Thought was probably our best game in terms of being able to respond from first quarter to fourth quarter. Obviously, there were some things that we need to clean up, but coming out of the game was kind of an odd game. It was 3-3, both teams getting field goals early in a game of just kind of feeling one another out. But boy, the Indians took charge real quick. They jumped up 24-3 at one time.
Yeah, and we did. It was kind of unusual to start off a game. You're right, 3-3, because we very rarely kick a field goal, and most high school teams just don't do it that much. And it was a bit odd to start, but I think once we got our bearings down, I just thought we needed to put something on the board, something positive, and I know that helps. It helps our kicking game, because at some point Noah Lyman is going to be in a position to win a game for us, and we want to give him that experience. So I thought it was important to go ahead and get that right away.
Well, we move into half, and Coach, you and I talked about this play Friday night. It's 24-3, and they are driving, and unfortunately it comes to a penalty, one of the few that we had on Friday night. They called a pass interference, and it's easy for us to say it wasn't the right call because where I stand, it didn't look like the right call, but needless to say, they call pass interference. They go up 24-10, gives them a little momentum going to the locker room.
It did, and that's probably one of the only bad things about the whole night, because I thought that we had, once they got down, our pass rush really picked up, and I thought we were good, and I thought it was an outstanding play. The thing with receivers anymore these days is it seems like anytime any ball is even battled a little bit, anytime anything's contested a little bit, the body language comes in with the receiver doing this, and the refs kind of buy into it. So, I just think that it's got maybe a little too complicated back there sometimes. And our defensive back, I thought, played it well. They came back the next play and they threw a touchdown on another guy that, again, I thought he played it as good as he could. The ball was as down and low as you possibly could get. The kid made a great catch, but in both instances, we did not fault either one of our defensive players.
Well, the Skyhawks come in back in the third quarter and close the score to 24-17. Even though they close it in within a touchdown, you still got to feel that we were in control of the game. And of course, we come out with, again, some big runs by Darian, who tips Clemens, who gets 3 touchdowns for Piqua that night. A big night for him, but a big night for Piqua. As you said, we just got better.
I think we did, and I know that we played a team that probably didn't have as good a record as some of our other opponents, but I thought that there's a lot of times, like John Wooden said, that you don't necessarily worry about them, you got to worry about yourself getting better, and I think in this case, we controlled ourselves, so to speak, and we've got a little bit better in the course of the game. As a matter of fact, we got a lot better by the looks of our goals.
Hey, those football coaches pay attention to basketball coaches, right?
We try. Everybody knows John Wood.
Well, the Indians finish out the game 37-17, and Coach, now we move into divisional play. We're 3-2. This is obviously a big game, as it's Vandalia Butler, but it's going into the division. And you and I had this conversation on the show last week about weeks 6 and 7. More specifically, you and I had a conversation last year about, if you really break the game down, the second half of game 6 always seems to be that turning point. We're at week 6. Are we having that conversation with our team?
Definitely having a conversation with the team. We've had the conversation with our team throughout the course of the year. We are with these guys virtually every day, either in the weight room, classroom, hallways, whatever. We see our guys, and our guys are fully aware of what happened. When I came in for Monday meeting and I reviewed the game last year, it was no news to anybody. Sometimes, you know, you're getting on a Monday meeting and I'll say, hey, remember when this happened last year? And people, oh yeah. Everybody knew exactly what happened. And we knew what was going on. We have 3 or 4 guys, maybe 5 in this room on Monday meeting that sat down and basically have told me throughout the course of the year, I did not play my best football. I think that that I contributed in our downfall. And I'm one of the first people to tell everybody that I think I contributed to our downfall. So it's easy for those guys to come in and say it too. So I think everybody shared a little bit of the ownership, which is step 1. If you're not willing to even own up to it, you're not going to get any better. But we've all decided that we're going to get better at it, and everything that we did wrong last year, we're already trying to correct throughout the course of the year, and now it just gets into under a microscope right now. We want to try to do every little thing, every little detail that we don't allow that to happen again this year.
And for our fans, which probably some may know and may not know, last year against Vandalia, we're up 2 scores in the 4th quarter and really in control of the game, and then things just slip here and slip there, and we end up falling by 7. So this group of seniors have talked about Vandalia because it's as big of a game right now for them as it is Troy in week 10.
It is. It is, and again, those guys, they can't sit down and say, hey, yeah, or boy, last year, you know, the seniors, if he wouldn't have fumbled, or if that senior wouldn't have done this, or if that senior wouldn't have, it's like, hey, we're the ones that did it. We were young guys playing, and we're not young guys anymore. Now we're old guys, and we're not going to make those kind of mistakes again. So I think that's what's key to the whole situation.
Let's talk a little bit about Vandalia more specifically. Talk about their coach has been around quite a bit. Talk about their team strategy. What can we expect to see from the Aviators that are coming in on Friday?
They're a 2-back offense for the most part. They throw the ball as well as anybody in the league. Always have. Always have had a great quarterback, and they always have big, strong offensive linemen. I think personnel-wise, they're as close to us as probably any team over my time at Piqua. It just seems like when you look at Vandalia and when Vandalia looks at us, we mirror each other quite a bit. We have the same philosophy on a lot of things, and this year they're playing a different defense, but it's kind of the same philosophy. They always have those big good guys that up in front. They're always able to throw the football. They've always got a great running back, and so I think year in, year out, they're just a quality football team. They have a system. They know what they want to do, and they get it done on a year-to-year basis.
A mirror of the Indians, and certainly Friday night will be important for the game of it's Vandalia, but it's also the first game of the division. We want to get off on the right foot.
It is, and when you get to that point now, we don't want to be chasing any points. We don't want to be chasing any trophies. Last year we had to sit and say, well, if so-and-so loses, we got a chance to be the league champs. If so-and-so loses, we have a chance to get in the playoffs. Okay? We need to just go out and take control of things so we can keep moving forward and not have to look over to see who's going to help us, who's going to help us. The only people who need to help us is ourselves. And we need to get out and do the job ourselves and not make excuses.
It's nice to be able to control your own destiny, and certainly get a chance to do that here Friday night at Alexander Stadium. Alexander Stadium also will be homecoming night, which will have a lot of extra, hopefully, faces in the crowd. We had a great crowd Friday night, probably one of the best we've had here in a while. We had good weather. We were the Channel 2 team game of the week, and everything just kind of seemed to go, and we're hoping Friday night will bring us much of the same. Coach, before we close this out and before we go into talking to our halftime or to our next guest, which would be Jarrett Toops, Jarrett Sr., been a big part of this team for a lot of years on the defensive end side of the ball.
Yes, he's been a 3-year starter for us, and last year he was hurt. He tore his labrum and had to have surgery on it, and it came down to the wire. They said, you know, he can do this, but he wasn't cleared until the end of July, I believe, to actually have some contact. He was able to do some of our passing scrimmages. He had to wear a harness, and he moved everything along slowly, but he did everything meticulously. I mean, whatever he was supposed to do, he did it, whether or not it be his therapy, whether or not it be his stretches, here every day, doing whatever he can, and now he's enjoying, you know, a great season. He was an all-league player last year, and to be in a situation where you have surgery and they say you might be out 6 to 7, you know, months, you know, that's tough on a kid going into his senior year. He was fortunate that he got back, and he's playing his best football right now. He covers a lot of people's number 3 receivers. He blitzes for us, probably not as much as I should be blitzing him, but he's turned into more of a cover guy, but he's a run stuffer. He can get in there, he goes downhill and takes on the run.
Certainly not one of the loudest in the hallways as we talk about hallways, but certainly one of the most intense young men, and certainly someone that's going to have a big game for us on Friday night.
Oh, definitely, and you know he's a kid that you know that we're going to need a lot of leadership. He provides leadership in a different way. He's not a loud guy, but he is a guy that when he says stuff, it's very matter of fact, and oh, okay. That is true, and he has some good observations. So, you know, we're very fortunate that he's out playing his senior year and having the year he's having.
Well, certainly, Coach, we're looking forward to Friday night when the Indians will take on the first division game here at Alexander Stadium when the Vandalia Butler Aviators come to town. So, Coach, thanks for being with us, and we look forward to a good one on Friday night. Stick with us for the second half when we speak to Jarrett Toops, and we're going to talk a little bit about defense and maybe a little bit about homecoming court. Welcome back to the second half of the Bill Nees Coaches Show, and we are sitting with senior middle linebacker Jarrett Toops. And Jarrett, thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
We are here at halfway point of the season. Yep. We're going into week 6. The Indians pick up a big win on Friday night over Fairborn. We're 3-2 as a senior. Are we where we need to be at this point?
I feel like we're in a good spot. I mean, I wish we would have got those other 2 tough losses, but I feel like we're at a pretty good spot at this point, yeah.
Jarrett, we are now going into the second half of the season, and now we begin division play. These are the games that matter for a division title, and certainly, you know, Piqua is right in the thick of things, and we start with Vandalia, and we know how big of a game that is. Tell us what Vandalia game means to you.
It's a huge game for me because I've always played against these kids my whole life. Like, I've grown up playing Vandalia. It's always a big team for us. It's G-Walk North stuff. So I've grown up playing with these kids, and it's always been a tough game. It's always been their great team. And when I look at them, like I said, I see us in them. And I think they're a great team. We're going to go out and battle them, and I think we can really get it.
Certainly a tough game. When you look back last year, you know, we had our opportunities to win, weren't able to close it out. Is that a little bit of a motivational piece for you?
Yes, it is. Like I said, like in the past years, it's been a close game, and I cannot wait to get out there on Friday. It's going to be a special game. It's going to be a big one.
Well, it's no doubt that when you start getting into your division, the intensity ramps up a little bit. And as a senior, what are some of your goals this year as a senior football player on this team for not just you individually, but as a group? We
want the North. We really do want the North this year, and I feel like we really have the team to do it. I really do. Last year, man, we had a couple tough losses in the North. Like Vandalia gave us a game, and it came down to the wire. And I think we can get over those couple lumps and make it this year.
Super. Well, another interesting thing on Friday night, it's homecoming night here at Alexander Stadium. We'll have a lot of alumni here. Homecoming night also hits home close to you. You have been voted and on the homecoming court. What an honor.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. I didn't get on prom court last year, and I didn't even know I was on it until a few weeks ago, and it's a surprise. It really is, and I'm honored to be on it.
Well, congratulations, and you're one of several of our football players on the homecoming court. We encourage people to come out early, as the ceremony will be at 6:40, right after the coin flip. The ceremony will be from 6:40 to 6:50, right before the teams come on the field and the national anthem. Let's move a little bit and talk about your future. Where are you going to be a year from now? You know, you're a senior, you're going to be in college. What schools are you looking at? What are you thinking about in terms of majoring and just career?
I'm thinking about, I'm gonna go to college. I think about doing business administration, and I'm thinking about maybe like UC, something like UC, maybe OU, Columbus State actually. I've been looking at, and that's what I really wanted to do.
Well, you, Jared, are also, your family's got a family business.
Yes.
Everybody knows Bryan Brothers here. They're big supporters of Piqua Indians football for many years. Is that something maybe you want to do, or you're not sure?
Yeah,
you know,
that's the reason for the business degree, the business administration. I feel like that's gonna make me capable of taking over the business one day.
Yeah. Well, good for you. And we certainly wish you well going into your last half of your senior year, and we know great things are going to come from you.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being with us this week on the Bill Nees Coaches Show. Remember, this Friday night, it's homecoming night here at Alexander Stadium, when Vandalia will come into Alexander Stadium for Week 6 and the first game of divisional play. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Homecoming ceremony will be at 6:40. For Jarrett Toops, I'm your host, Chip Hare. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you Friday night.